Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. I'm Holly and this is the Women's Series, an educational platform where we get to go deep on all things women's health, fertility, and wellness. Now, today we are going to be discussing miscarriages. They are something that happens to 1 in 4 women and/or couples, but it is something that doesn't get talked about enough. And there are certainly things that you can do to prevent your chance of reoccurring miscarriages from taking place. Now, it's important to understand that if you don't have the underlying fertility factors optimized, then you kind of are going to be on the back foot if you are experiencing reoccurring miscarriages. And what I mean by that is that you really need to start at optimizing fertility factors before trying to figure out why you keep having these reoccurring miscarriages. So what do I mean by fertility factors? Things such as oxidative stress, inflammation, blood sugar mismanagement, cortisol, microbiome issues, etc. You want to make sure that all of those things are optimized before even worrying about why that reoccurring miscarriage or that singular miscarriage has been taking place. Now, some good statistics to understand about miscarriages is that 50% of miscarriages involve some form of chromosomal abnormality, but that doesn't just reside with the woman. In fact, half of miscarriages are associated with poor sperm health. So we need to make sure that we're looking at both male and female factor when it comes to ensuring a healthy and viable pregnancy after a loss. And 80% of miscarriages occur in the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. So it's very, very unlikely to experience a miscarriage after that first trimester. And if you do experience a miscarriage after that first trimester, often you'll be given a reason as to why. Now, I know that everybody likes to say that miscarriages are random and that it happens to everyone, but there are some contributing factors that can impact our risk for miscarriage, especially if you're experiencing reoccurring loss. The first thing to be aware of is that diet really does have an impact on the risk for miscarriage. We know that the microbial diversity of the gut is really important to ensure that loss doesn't occur. And the other thing for pregnant women to understand is that it's critical they eat a diverse amount of essential fatty acids. And we know through research that having a diverse essential fatty acid profile in your diet can lead to a safer and more likely pregnancy. Other aspects that impact loss and miscarriage are a lack of sleep, oxidative stress, infection, and hypothyroidism. Now, undiagnosed hypothyroidism and/or Hashimoto's is prevalent in 15% of the population. So if you are somebody that's experienced reoccurring miscarriages, or you simply have just experienced loss for one time, having your thyroid tested is really important. And you want to make sure that you're not only testing your TSH, your thyroid stimulating hormone, but that you're also testing your T3, your T4, as well as your TPO antibodies, TGB antibodies, and potentially your TSH-R antibodies to see whether or not there's an autoimmune response taking place against the thyroid. Now, what has this got to do with miscarriage? Well, we know that the thyroid is the third ovary. And if you have thyroid antibodies present, it's very likely that you also have ovarian antibodies present. So these are the things that we want to test for if miscarriages and loss are things that you are experiencing. Now, I hate to break it to you ladies, but one of the worst things that you can consume while pregnant is caffeine. Caffeine has been shown to increase miscarriage during pregnancy by 19%. And for every increase of caffeine intake of 150 milligrams, it continues to increase the risk of miscarriage by 8%. So if you are somebody that is experiencing reoccurring loss, if you are someone that's mindful or worried about miscarriages, definitely ditching the coffee is a good idea, and ditching the caffeine intake. We see across the board that groups of women who have a lower amount of butter, essential fatty acids, and antioxidants have a much higher risk of miscarriage. In fact, we know that antioxidant status in general impacts miscarriage rates. So making sure that you're eating a diet that's very full of essential fatty acids like cod liver and oily fish, avocado, olive oil, primrose oil, as well as antioxidants rich foods like blueberries and pomegranate, and those polyphenols and flavonoids that you can get from many different fruits and vegetables, is really important at ensuring that you have a successful first trimester and a successful pregnancy. Finally, when it comes to risk factors for miscarriages, we know that women with endometriosis have an 80% increased risk of miscarriage. Now, this is only relevant for women that have a spontaneous pregnancy or a unplanned pregnancy. And the reason for this is because there's so much inflammation taking place. So leading into trying to conceive, you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to lower your inflammatory load, especially if you have endometriosis. The less inflamed you are, the higher the chances of a successful pregnancy there is. So hopefully this information has helped you in terms of those who are experiencing reoccurring loss, or those who are just going through the conception journey, to be sure of consuming essential fatty acids, ditching the caffeine, lowering your inflammatory load, and boosting your antioxidant status. If you liked this video and you want to hear more, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, drop us a comment, and we'll be back next week with more information about all things women's health.